Godsmack recently kicked off the European leg of their world tour. There were two key members of the band that were missing from the stage, leading many fans to wonder what is happening with Godsmack. And in a new interview, vocalist Sully Erna made some comments that's raising eyebrows with fans. And as of now, we still aren't sure what their status is with the group. I'm talking about lead guitarist Tony Rumbola and drummer Shannon Larkin, both longtime members of the band. So when they weren't on stage, fans, of course, immediately noticed their absence. And vocalist Sully Erna is addressing the situation in a new interview. The band recently kicked off the European leg of that world tour on March 22nd in Bulgaria, and fans immediately noticed something was off with that different lineup, now featuring Evanescence drummer Will Hunt filling in for Shannon Larkin, and Sam Colton of Dorothy filling in for guitarist Tony Rumbola. Now, it sounds like there's a lot of changes underway internally in Godsmack, because Sully himself sounded very uncertain about even their status within the band. It certainly raised a lot of eyebrows. He said he wasn't going to be sure if their absence from the band is temporary or permanent. Of course, if their absence was permanent, this is a seismic shift in this group, having been members of the band for over 20 years. And this is what he had to say, leading these fans to be concerned about what's happening with Godsmack. Speaking to Bulgaria's Z-Rock Radio, Sully revealed that these changes happened over the last several months, and he's not sure if they're going to be permanent or temporary. He told them, "Such a tricky question to answer right now at this stage. I can tell you that there has definitely been some changes that have happened in the last few months. They are changes that we're not sure will be permanent or temporary, but everybody and everyone is in good health and in really good spirits, and the band is doing better than ever." He says, "We're playing to the biggest audiences ever, and the shows are just becoming more and more valuable because as we get older, we still appreciate coming to places like Bulgaria that is so far away from where we started and being able to come here and sell out a 13,000 seat arena. All I can tell you right now is the band is in good health, we're in good spirits, but there's going to be a little bit different visual for everybody. Tony and Shannon have some personal things going on, and they're not with us, so we have a couple of guest musicians playing with us that are phenomenal." Now, the interviewer eventually directly asked him why they weren't on stage, why they weren't with the band, and Sully said he's not comfortable talking about this right now at the stage. It sounds like a lot of changes could still be going on. He told them, I don't know if I feel safe enough talking about that yet because I don't want to give people the wrong impression. Right now, we're still at a stage where we're trying to figure out exactly what's happening, but we're also trying to respect their privacy. So whatever Tony and Shannon have going on in their personal life, we're just trying to respect that and at the same time still come here and put on a really great show. I can tell you right now that we have a guest drummer playing with us who's Will from Evanescence, and he is such a good friend of ours and such a great musician, and we've been having so much fun with him, so that's been a real surprise. And then we have a guitar player with us named Sam Colton, who is somebody who he's played with several different bands and a really nice guy and great guitar player. So as far as the music goes and the sound, it sounds exactly like we've always sounded, which is even surprising to me. Now, from the framing of things there from Sully, it sounds like maybe there's personal issues happening with the members. He doesn't make it sound like it is some sort of a band dispute. Now, in the past, there have been talks about potential, creative or studio disagreements, and Sully said a couple of years ago that the band was really done putting out albums, that they had said all they wanted to say creatively, and the band is just pretty much going to be touring on their catalog. They have a great catalog of music, so more than enough songs to play live every night, that is for sure. But it does beg the question about whether or not, he says it has to be determined as to whether or not they're permanently going to be gone from the group. That would be a major departure from this band. Back around 2007, members of Godsmack formed a side band called Another Animal when vocalist Sully Erna was reportedly dealing with a writing block. That band at the time featured guitarist Tony Rumbola as well as drummer Shannon Larkin. And then in 2010, Sully Erna released a solo record himself. And as it relates to that side project, Another Animal, vocalist Sully Erna says it caused tension internally in the group and things weren't good for a while. He told Revolver there was a lot of tension around that. After the record came out, there were times when Tony was really bent with me because he got to a place where he started to write more and he wanted more of his stuff on the records. And I was just like, okay, but it's still a band here, and me being the main songwriter, don't think I'm ever not going to write music. So we would pick half of his stuff and half of mine and try to make a hybrid of it. But for some reason, he would take it personally when I didn't pick this song or that song of his. And so then the guys went and built a record off of stuff that we didn't use, but could have probably revisited later. And that created a lot of shit because Avalon, that was completely different. It was a complete disconnect from Godsmack. It wasn't even the same style of music, nor did I want it to be. But I felt like those guys were doing shit where I was like, this is kind of not cool. You're competing with us. What are you guys thinking? And that created a lot of static. It wasn't good for a while. And so then you had a few years ago, Sully saying that the band wasn't going to be releasing new albums anymore. So it's hard to tell what exactly is going on here, but lots of speculation about what led to this and whether or not it's going to be permanent. It certainly would be a major change for Godsmack. That's your latest update here from Rockfeed. Be sure to subscribe and notifications on for the latest news and updates.